Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is Tower of God. So I'm starting off with episode 8, where we last left off. Bam and Kun are still fighting Rak. I decided to actually take notes between the end of last episode and the start of this one. That said, even after rereading it, I don't know why he's calling them turtles. Like, either it's a pun or it's something that we'll learn about later. Like, I kind of think it's because they're hiding, but when he first saw them, they weren't hiding. Like, they were right out in the open. But he still called them turtles, so... Okay, every pocket serves as a timer. Useful. That said, I do not like the way that this timer is, like, pasted onto the pockets. Like, the way that looks visually is real rough. I hope it gets, better over time. Whereas, like, the, I don't know what exactly to call that. The speaker, I guess? Because that's kind of where the sound came out of last time. Like, I think that looks really good because it stands out from everything else. Like, because it looks sort of CGI. Like, that's a really good way of using the distinct difference in art styles to your advantage. Whereas this just looks, I'm not going to try and go on about it, though. Okay, everyone stay where you are. The first test is now over. Any regulars fighting from now on will be eliminated. Okay, so they're already down to 200. So half of them are just done now. Wow. Congratulations to all of you. Okay, so we're going right into the second test. A short second test as well. So I can't imagine something like, keep on killing people. It has to be something that can be done very quickly. Now, here's the challenge for the second test. Also, wait, where is he? Like, that clearly looks like a bed. Where in the world is that? For those who remain, find 2 regulars to be your teammates. Oh, that's really clever. Because as of right now, like, the scarier you are, the less likely it is that you'll get teammates. And if you don't have a team, then naturally I assume you're just out. So Rak is basically just done for, unless he teams up with our 2 main boys. This test is to make a team of 3. I'm really surprised that Kun's, like, upset about it, though. He seems like the kind of guy who would be very down for that. Alright, 5 minutes. That's especially good, because it means... I love it! Because, again, like, everyone has been fighting. They immediately had to stop. That means that, like, within 5 minutes, this is a really big area. So I can't imagine it's very easy to find other teams, unless they've already been fighting. So they're going to have to make teams of 3 within, like, groups that have been fighting. Also, assuming that most of them have been, like, one-on-one. Like, if there are any groups of 3 that kind of just naturally came together, then this would be super easy. But if there's an area where it was, like, 1v1v1, that would be really rough. Actually, like this area. I didn't write down the names of these 3, if we got them, so hopefully we'll get those again. I have to make a team with these guys! Alright, 2F, Ivankel's Hell. Alright, if you don't make a team in 5 minutes, you are eliminated. To be considered a team, you need to be touching some part of your teammates' bodies when the time limit is over. I'm not sure how you could manipulate that, though. Like, I guess you could forcibly make someone teammate if you happen to be touching them. Or alternatively, because he said, they all have to stop fighting, right? So you can't do something where, like, a team's already set up and then you jump in and try to keep them from touching each other so that they're disqualified, right? Just as the first test has ended, those close by are the ones you were fighting a minute ago. 2 teammates here in 5 minutes. Yep, they are 3 people, so it's possible. Radio, don't! Radio, danger! Don't! Danger! Shibisu, okay. I'll have to keep my pen on hands. Because I feel like this is going to be a series with a lot of characters as well. Yeah, I mean, that is true. Although, will they accept him is the thing. Like, this would be a very easy way to get someone on their teams, but, like, what do they mean by teams? Like, is it literally just you have to be together for this one challenge and then it's done? Or, like, do you have to stay together for the entire tower? My name is Hats and yours, Anak. Okay. Anak is... Oh, I mean, actually, yeah, that makes sense. Because Anak looks like he or she. I assumed he, but I guess that's just an androgynous design. Anak could be just like a lizard person. Yeah, especially with the tail, so that makes sense. Anak feels like a very lizardy word somehow. Oh boy, that's a mess. I'll fix it later. All right, they're just leaving. They'd rather just wander off and find someone else than have to deal with him. And yeah, it's really the only choice they have. Plus, Rack clearly is like, he's powerful. He's already proven his worth as a team member, so the main thing is just getting him on their side. Yeah, timeout. I mean, also, if he attacks them, won't he get disqualified? Like, even he had to have heard that, right? Here's a group of 3. Let's be teammates and pass the test. Okay, what can we do? I'll kill you within 1 minute and find another teammate. Oh, geez. Okay, so now Bam has to step in and make peace between them, right? By the way, this is actually a really cool shot. Like, in general, I've been very underwhelmed with the arts, and from what I've heard, like, it does get a lot better, so I'm not going to try and bash it too much. However, I will say, like, this is a really cool shot. I really like the use of shadow here, and like the glinting of the steel. It's really nice. Okay. You said you wanted to hunt me. What do you mean by hunts? I push through powerful Shinsu and tear off and eat the skin of the strong. Okay, so I do know from the comments that the power system in the series is Shinsu. So this is a really interesting way to like introduce it for the first time. Like, I assume without explaining it. He's just kind of like saying it as a fact. Also, I'm kind of curious as to whether this is a thing that actually works or not. Like, if he eats people, like if he eats other people, does that actually make him stronger? Or is he saying that in like a metaphorical sense? Like, you know, like rip the hearts out of your enemies in order to, you know, gain their courage. Or I guess it could be both. I'm wondering that specifically because he's not human. So like his biology could be such that he can like make his skin stronger by eating other people's skin. Whereas if he were a human character, I would assume it's more of a metaphor. But I think he's going to twist around and say, you can hunt me after we're done this trial. Okay, I do not know what... Oh, is it because he threw it aside? Like, is he going to say, well, you can hunt me, but I'm not going to use my my needle against you? Also, this is a pretty good reaction image. Oh yeah, we did get one of those before. It weirded me out to have, like, what looks like the end of the chapter, sort of, but it's just in the middle. Actually, what is that? Like, is that a commercial break in the original or something? Like, that does feel very strange. Like, there's no reason why you would want to separate this scene from this scene with, like you could just use, like, clear white space or just clear black space. The fact that they put the actual title in here is rather strange. That's right, alright, so he's come to an impasse because he's a hunter, because he's, you know, the kind of person who wants a good fight. This won't satisfy him. Also, this is the exact same panel 3 times. Like, I really like how that works in a, like, aggravating sense. Like, how do I put that? Because you can tell that Rack's ones are redrawn. At least partially. Actually, yeah, I think they're completely redrawn. But, like, Bam's completely aren't, in order to show that he is just, like, he's standing firm. He is saying exactly the same thing over and over again. Whereas, like, Rack is getting steadily more and more angry. Right. The less time they have, the lower the chances are of just some other person coming in here. And if he's forced to say yes, then that's it. Isn't it more important to go up the tower than hunt Bam? I mean, it makes clear sense. Like, he's not even doing any trickery. This is just straight up normal logic. But, I mean, I guess Rack is just that much of an idiot. Yeah, he's really gone mad. 55 seconds to go. Wait, what? What do you mean 55 seconds? Like, this was a timer counting down, right? There's no way. Like, in what numerical system is 04 colon 05 55 seconds? That is true, though. Like, that was mentioned. If both of them just touch him at the very moment that it ends, then they are a team. Oh, I really like how that's typeset. It looks good. Oh, wait a minute. It's counting upwards, right? Never mind. I'm going back to look at it. Yeah, 55 seconds. I'm such an idiot. How did I not realize that it's counting up? Never mind. That was so... It wasn't even complicated math. It was incredibly simple. Okay. That was real close. That was really close. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second. They did it. second test is over now. Ah, poor Rack. You got outsmarted. Oh, that was really good. That was actually fantastic. All right, I do love just the sheer variety of character designs we have. A lot of whom look like they're wearing relatively modern clothing too. Like I like that aesthetic. That like because it's sort of a fantasy world in a sense, but like the fact they have modern clothing means that any number of crazy styles can be used here, and they'll all like fit naturally. That's really cool. I don't know how I didn't think of that from the start though. With Shibuzu's like it's like he's wearing a jogging outfit. I mean that is definitely modern attire. Because of your chattering mouth, my sword arm wants to strike, Shibizu. All right, I really like Enact's personality so far. They've got a nice bit of bite to them. I've learned deadly martial arts. Don't lie. I genuinely think he might have though. Like because he was chosen, like he is a regular, which means that there has to be some reason why he's here. Like he can't just be an everyman like Bam. So what I'm thinking is that he does know deadly martial arts, but he only knows like a few moves, or he was a lazy person, and so he only like learned the basics. And so if he wants to get better, he's gonna have to train a lot on his own. My martial arts is secretly passed down in the tower. I genuinely believe that now. That's my new theory for him. Okay, so she came with a knight. Or actually, never mind. Because of the way they're talking, I assumed that the two of them like went into the tower as like as a knight and her his lady. But I think it could be the opposite. Like maybe they just met as part of that whole fight, and that's why like they have this relationship because he said, "No, I'm not going to fight you." Okay. Is this guy small or just like in the background? That's one thing I am a bit worried about with the series right now is that the difference between background and foreground is hard to tell in a lot of shots. Like unless it's a character that is like clearly supposed to be really big. Like all the fight moments with Rack, those all made sense because he was a point of reference because we had seen how big he was already. But with this shot, specifically because there's what looks like some sort of mini devil on his shoulder when he already looks like a devil. Like, because of that, I can't tell if this is supposed to be like a halfling or just a short person or just a person in the background who is normal sized. Oh, that's why we saw this shot before. Okay, so actually, that brings the question because they weren't here. Like, none of them went anywhere different after the test was over or after the first part was over. So was he just sleeping on the grounds? Like, did he bring this stuff with him? That'd be an interesting idea for a character if he just like constantly sleeps, but then whenever he does wake up, he's super strong. Also, I'm wondering if anyone got eliminated in that. Like, some people must have, right? Yeah, because actually, 200 does not divide evenly into 3. Like, it's right? I think it's 198 that divides properly into 3. So at least 2 people have to be gone. Probably less. Or probably more have to be gone. But still, at least more than 100. Then play the game cheap and dirty. This is also a really good premise to introduce a ton of characters who all have at least one interesting quirk or ability, or like something special about them. While at the same time, like because they're all entering at the same time, we don't have to worry about too many of them being overpowered compared to Bam. Like, a lot of them are probably still learning. Like, even though I assume Bam is one of the weakest ones there. Like, I think this is a good thing for scaling. Wait, he's their leader? Or did they say that just to keep him around? This is such a silly shot as well. Okay, 2F. Lero Rose tests. Alright, there's already conflicts. Maybe you can buy a stick and attach it to your arm. Oh, geez. Alright, things are really getting heated with these two. And yeah, there's no reason to jump in and try to stop it. Like, the tower has administration. If this gets really serious, or if it's really a problem, the administration will deal with it. There's no reason for you to get involved. There you go. Are we going to see something else like Head-On come out of the walls? Or no? Did you, regulars? Okay, so this is Leroro. Oh boy, this is... So what is he going to do? Like, is he just going to open up a trapdoor and have them fall out of the tower, or is he going to kill them? I'm the ranker of the tower. The ranker. Wait, the ranker? I thought... Isn't ranker the term for people who are ascending the tower? So why would he say I'm the ranker? He's a ranker and the test administrator. Oh, wait. Rankers are people who reach the top of the tower. Okay, never mind. Rankers are evaluated every season and given a ranking. That's why they're called rankers. By the way, like, this reveals two big things. Number one is that, like, you can get to the top of the tower. Like, it's not a mythical thing that no one has ever done. Like, multiple people have done it. Like, all the rankers have, by virtue of this explanation. So, the other thing is, I do know that there is, like, we're currently in Tower of God Season 2. Like, I'm not right now, but the series itself isn't Season 2. I kind of assumed that was because they were treating it like a season, like, you know, like seasons of a TV show. But, like, is it possible that Season 2 is literally the second season? Like, in the same way that this is, the rankers are evaluated every season. That'd be a really cool way to split up the series. Like, with an in-universe, like, amount of time. Only 1 or 2 out of thousands of regulars get to be rankers. Okay, I'll explain the next rounds. Also, I kind of just skimmed over that idea, but it is really interesting that the rankers are the ones who then get, like, levels of the tower for themselves. Like, it's not that the tower is alive and it creates its own administration, or that there's, like, a higher power that governs it, and then that also, like, creates automatons to do it. Like, all the rankers are most likely people who have, like, gotten to the top of the tower, gotten everything they wanted, and now they run a section of the tower. That really changes the way I see it. Okay, there's a pre-test before the test. There are so many tests. Alright, so gotta pass it. Absolutely gotta pass it. I keep expecting one of these to be like, I need you to use Shinsu or something. Like this, like that, this way, that way, y'all. Oh, actually, this reminds me a lot of, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a scene a lot like this in Hunter x Hunter, where, like, there's, like, I guess a test, actually, where characters are blown away like this, and they have to determine, like, what it was that blew them away and how to, like, get around it or push through it. So I assume that's it, then. Like, this must be a Shinsu technique, and if you can figure it out, then you can, like, not get kicked out. Yep, there we are. I threw you a veil of Shinsu. Okay, it allows us to breathe and provides water. It allows us to breathe and provides water. Is Shinsu oxygen, then? Perhaps? Or, like, you know, this world's version of oxygen? Or maybe not oxygen, but maybe, like, water vapor. Highly concentrated Shinsu is so strong that it can break an arm. Alright. And yeah, so if you're allergic to Shinsu, you have to get out now. Okay, that's actually really fair, because it's not really a test of skill or anything. It's just a test of, like, do you have it in you or not? Like, are you capable of it? Ooh, and that is pretty rough, actually. So just based on, like, what, not just can you pass, but if you can pass, but one of your teammates can't, then you're just done. The most important thing to go up the tower, it's luck. The luck to have a strong body. The luck to be smart. The luck to be rich. The luck to escape from death. The luck to save with teammates. The only reason you've come so far is because you're lucky. I really like that. it's a really interesting thing to push for the series. Like the tower isn't a place where literally anyone can go in and have a chance of winning. Like you just have to be lucky. Like it's not fate per se, but like it's not fair. That's really cool. Yep, it's got nothing to do with fairness. Oh wait, he can see it already. All right, so he can see the veil already. It doesn't look that high. I assume we can go through. He's been hunting in the Shinsu. He did say that out loud, so... And can Bam see it? I should go out and come in again, right? Wait, so did he just accidentally walk out of the veil? You're in. I think I made a mistake, but it is also part of your luck. Okay, oh, never mind, I get it. I get it. So he didn't move. So he created the veil and used that veil to push everyone back, but he didn't push Bam back for whatever reason. Like whether it's luck or it's an inherent ability Bam has. If I had to guess, I guess this is just a personal thing. I don't like series where the main character has like anti-magic or the power to negate other abilities. I find that to be like, it's an interesting thing, and there are a lot of series that do it right, but I also find it kind of boring. I always prefer it if it's a side character that has an ability like that, and if they're not a main character. So, based on my own prejudices, I'm going to say that Bam can't, like, negate Shinsu. So, what else could it be? It's potentially either, like, he has incredible natural control over it, or, like, there's something else going on with him. Right. He just wasn't bounced out. Ah, and because that happened, he is automatically going to be a target for everyone. A monster has arrived. Alright, so he does have something special about him. Actually, we do know that, I forgot its name, but the eel from the very first floor, from Head-On's floor, that was able to, like, it swam through the Shinsu, and it seemed like it was swimming around when Bam fought it. And Bam didn't seem to have a problem with, like, being in that area at all. Like, no one mentioned it, but I assume the reason that no one mentioned it is because, like, we had two rankers and Head-On, all of whom wouldn't really like care about it, right? So, it's got to be something along those lines. It's okay when it's just touch it, but when I try to push, I feel a twinge and I bounce off. Okay. This would be an interesting way to get some more, like, I guess just general backstory then. Because I do want someone to talk about... I want someone to talk to him. I want to know more about Bam. I don't want him to spill all the secrets of the series, obviously, but I do want to know more about him. Let's guess which regular will be the first to pass through the Shinsu. The only reason I assume that, that Rack hasn't tried, or that Kun hasn't just, like, busted through himself, with Kun, I assume it's because he can, but he doesn't want to draw attention to himself. Like, he doesn't want to be number 2 to go through. I don't know why Rack wouldn't, though. Like, he's very impulsive. Okay. This is a pretty fair game. Like, no matter who wins, I'm really interested. Okay, Naka's a girl. Good to know. Also, it's nice that we have, like, a secondary team that's like, they've had a bit of focus so far. And on that team, there's at least one female character. I was a bit worried this was going to be a majority guy-based series. Especially considering that Rachel was, like, around for a bit and then she was gone, and I assume we're not going to see her again until, like, 100 episodes in or so. Right, there's a high probability that she passed through here. Almost a guaranteed probability, actually. Like, assuming everyone has to take the same tests or similar tests. Like, the tower, by nature of being a tower, means it has to be linear, right? Like, you can't just skip over floors. Like, maybe there's a way to, like, fast travel through some of them, but especially for, like, these ones, for, like, the qualifications, you'd have to assume that Rachel did all of this. It's like, is he seeing... I also choose that green girl. I have a feeling... Okay. So, he can see, like, the... How would I put that? Like, it's not an aura of Shinsu, because Shinsu isn't... It doesn't seem to be, like, key in the sense that people don't seem to generate it. Like, the way he described it, it seemed like it was more like something in the air that you can manipulate, but that isn't a part of you. So in that case, if there's an aura, would it be more, like, along the sense of, like it's the Shinsu flowing around her instead of just like harmlessly moving over her? Seems like a tie. All right. Did a girl with light blonde hair and freckles pass through here? Okay, so there are other tests. Like, there is a way to get through the tower without meeting, like, everyone on every floor. All right. Although, to be fair, I don't know how big, like, again, I was told that the floors are comparable to the entire United States. So, but I don't know if, like, every floor is literally just that, like, one big open area that you can then build houses on and whatnot. Or are they segmented? Like, is this area just like a quarter, or like a fifth, or like a tenth of the actual area of the tower? Because that would be a good way to like do a lot of testing with a lot of people without having too many people in one room. Could you tell me about the irregulars? All right. Also, I guess he gets more than one question. What in the world is this? Oh no. You bum in a tracksuit. Oh my god, this is great. Okay, this is actually fantastic. Is it because this bum touched it? She's actually bleeding from the head. Okay, this is a fantastic scene. But he has to get through, right? Like, I don't want his team to be eliminated because he can't get through. I don't think there's a rule against other teammates helping, so maybe, like, Anak and, what was it again? Hats? Maybe the two of them can, like, grab onto his hands and use their abilities to help him through. I mean, they are teammates, right? So, like, if being on a team with someone else means that you could get disqualified, I assume the opposite is true. Like, because you're on a team with someone else, they can help you qualify. They can help you get through. Prologue was true indeed. Everything is really in here. God damn, that's... I was not expecting that joke. I wasn't expecting any, like, fourth wall breaking, to be honest. This seems like a very straightforward series. I did not expect that. Okay, Sleepy Boy is back up, and this is the place to sleep. I don't think anyone will get out of here. Oh my god. Okay, these two are a great duo. The irregulars are those who don't fit to the rules of the tower. Okay. The residential area called the outer tower, the regulars test area called the inner tower, and then there is the middle area. Okay, that's not what I expected at all. Through the inner tower or the right middle area, that's for the regulars. Okay. Of course I knew inner tower, outer tower, and yo, everybody's tower, yay! What in the world is he doing? So... We still don't know what's going on with, like, how Bam got here. The way they implied it before, like, my immediate thought was that he came from outside the tower as a whole, and somehow, like, he and Rachel managed to get into the tower. But because of the way they've said it, like, because there is a residential area of the tower, maybe it's that, like, when they said climbing the tower, like, naturally, like, you would just be on whatever floor you are in the residential areas for, like, your entire life. So... I have to assume they were at the very bottom residential area. And then somehow, both of them got through. From what I was told, the current theory is that Bam opened the gate, and Rachel didn't. Like, because he was there, he opened it up. And Rachel just kind of, like, fell through. And that's why Head-On kept saying that he was the one who opened it. Right, so everyone here was born in... Okay! Yes, so never mind, I was wrong. So he wasn't from any of the residential areas. Like, he is new to the tower as a whole. Like, in its entirety. And that's why he doesn't know anything about Shinsu, for instance. Like, I have to imagine, even in the residential areas, they must have Shinsu. Okay, and so Head-On is the administrator of the tower. Like, he is the main administrator. Are the irregulars evil? No. Alright, we're getting some big names already. Pentamium, Enryu, Urek, Mizuno. They were all so powerful that irregulars became the symbols of fear. Right. I feel like that's going to be the answer for a lot of questions in the series. Just go up. Everything exists up there. Like, it has so much more weight because we know for a fact he went up. Like, he got to the very top. But it also changes the meaning of what that means, because it's not like if you go up there, you get any wish in the world, or you get, like, a kingdom. Like, it's nothing so grand. it has to be something that is incredible, something that like justifies saying everything exists up there. But at the same time, it has to be something where the people who would go up there are then willing to work for the tower. Either willing or maybe unwilling. Like, they could be cursed or something, but so far it doesn't seem like that. Like, the series has portrayed going up the tower as being, like, a perfect good. There's been no drawback to it, apart from just, you could die going up. But, like, it doesn't seem to be a trap in any sense. Oh boy. You eliminate me just because I failed this test. This is nonsense. Oh boy. I feel like he's going to get his ass kicked. About the power that lies above and why you can't go up. Alright, I've got to see what happens next. Because, I mean, in general, it seems like a really dumb idea to mouth off to someone who can create a barrier like that. There's no limit to Shinsu. With Shinsu, you can obtain immortality or godlike powers. There are rumors that Enryu, the Notorious, can create a living thing using Shinsu. When one faces an opponent with infinite possibility and discovers his limits, he falls into despair. Is that it? Is he just showing his power level? Like, is that enough to make him realize that he's completely outmatched? Those who don't qualify get lost. Oh my gosh. And I think that makes sense then. Like, if this much is, like, it's crushing for him, but it's routine above the 30th floor, then it has to be, I think, that Bam is just, like, somehow, without consciously being aware of Shinsu, he is, like, he's adapted to it. Like, he has the same adaptivity that someone, like, on the 30th floor, or, like, on a higher floor would have naturally. And because of that, that's why the barrier didn't mean anything to him. Like, that barrier is most likely just a normal amount of Shinsu for some people. Like, to the point where it would just be, like, blowing a fan on them. Also, this is a good face. I really like it. Like, it's gross, but it's not overly gross. It's gross enough to show that, like, to show how much he's suffering. It's not like you were not strong enough, or your effort wasn't enough. It's just because you just weren't one of the chosen ones. Oof. Oh, he's straight up just vomiting now. Oh. There's nothing left for me when I go back, not even my wife or kids. Okay, they're really hammering in what a tragedy this is. Like, how unfair it is. Oh, man. Isn't God cruel? I mean, I never really considered why the series is called Tower of God, but this is a really good metaphor. Like, when you're young, it seems like your life is limitless, like you can do anything, but one day he appears again and tells you this is your limits. Ah, do I deserve to go up the tower? I'm sure there will come a time when you have to stop your journey, and I just hope that you find what you're looking for wherever that is. That's a pretty solid line, because I assume that Bam has to, like, get to the top of the tower. Like, that's just a definite in my mind. But how long that takes is completely arbitrary. And it's completely possible that after that, like, he might not become a ranker. Like, he might just leave. And that might be fine. It also sets up that even if other characters he meets don't manage to get to the top, it's not like the end of the world. Like, everyone has their own limits. And the big deal is, like, if you can do what you want to do within that limits. I mean, at least he's not bleeding from it. Oh, Who chooses who? All right. Can they do it? I mean, obviously, naturally Kun would be able to just walk through. Oh? Okay, so the briefcase was a bit tougher. I assume that's because, like, it takes more efforts to, like, because your body is your body, it's easier to control Shinsu around your physical body than it is to control it around things that aren't, like, tight-fitting clothing. Okay, they both got through. Fair enough. I recommend that you avoid getting too close to your teammate, Mr. Kun. He's from a dangerous family. Okay. That's an interesting thing to leave us out on. Like, it also adds a sense of danger to both Kun and Rak. Because Rak, like, we already have that sense of danger. Like, he's a dumb guy and he's real strong. And, he's potentially dangerous. He outright said he wanted to hunt Bam. But now we have cause to distrust Kun as well. Okay, they just brute forced their way through. Oh man, that's pretty great. Also, I like that they've become comrades almost, like through their mutual suffering. They've gotten over the hating each other thing, and now they're both happy for each other. Wait, is he still in there? Is he going to die? Or we don't see the actual barrier there, so maybe he somehow managed to get through. 2F Hung Sung's examination. Okay. I'm the test guide, Yellowy. Oh boy. Like, is this a real person, or is this like a created person of some sorts? Okay, so they're going in one team at a time. Also, by the way, I haven't really talked about it, but I like and dislike the naming scheme of the series. I like how distinct all the names are. They're really nice, and the fact that most of them are like everyone has a monosyllabic, syllabic, you know, a name with one syllable in it. Like, the fact that basically everyone has one of those, or has a name that can be reduced to a single syllable, is really nice. Like, even if they have last names, or like, you know, extra names, the fact that most of them can be simplified deeply is really nice. But on the opposite side, because they are they're very strange names, and not typical fantasy names either. Because of that, it's very difficult for me to immediately pick up on the names. I'm sure I'll be able to over time, but like, they don't just pop into my head as easily as other names would, which is strange because you'd think they would be a lot easier to remember because they're so distinct and strange. He's never been in a bright place. I imagine that's automatically got to be a big trigger. Like what floor would he be from if he's never seen a bright place? Or such a bright place? That also implies that okay, I think I thought at the start that he may have been from underground, and like he had to go from underground to the tower. That would be a point in that theory's like benefits. Like if the world outside of the tower is like super desolated and most people live underground, and he like dug his way from underground to the entranceway that was still kind of underground, like it was all stone. It didn't look like any other place in the towers we've seen so far. So maybe, is that what's called sky? Yeah, he's heard of the sky, but he's never seen it. That basically confirms it for me. He has to be like someone who has only lived underground. I know that if you keep going up in the sky, you can get to the bright stars. Wait, stars are just a legend. Okay, so that also explains it, yeah, because they are still in the tower. So all the skies naturally have to be artificial, because all the skies would be just the floor of the next tower, or the next floor. The bright thing at night is just a light ball. Okay. Oh, and that's why. So, like, he's never been to the real outside. That absolutely confirms he has to have only lived underground then. But that's the only possibility. If he had lived anywhere else outside the tower that wasn't underground, then at some point he would have been able to look up and either see the stars or the night sky, or the normal sky. The fact that he hasn't seen either means that he has to be from underground. Ooh. And I can't tell if Kun is just like pushing it aside because he doesn't care, or if he's intentionally like letting this go, because Rack clearly understands what this means. Whereas Kun is like just brushing it off as if it's like, that's so suspicious. Everything Bam said there is very suspicious. Next team, please. All right, so each team has to go in one at a time. There's no way to tell what is going on in there. And I have to assume that the ones who lose this test either die or are just like sent off. It didn't take long for the door to open when the previous team went in. And I didn't hear any screams from the previous team. Ah, this is pretty nerve-wracking, actually. Okay, there's a scream. Only 3 out of 10 teams didn't scream. And I think that's a pretty good thing to assume, that the teams that didn't scream are the ones that passed. Oh boy, what is this fresh hell? Who is this guy? Oh no, this is giving me some Hunter x Hunter vibes. I'm almost certain this guy's gonna give him fake advice. The biggest clue is given every time. It is time. So it's the amount of time that passes. But what would that entail? The teams that didn't scream all passed the test in 4 to 5 minutes. The teams that passed 5 minutes all screamed. Okay. Alright. And the administrators are intentionally letting us hear the screams. This is all pretty solid logic, but I mean, he could still be misleading them. The most powerful, like, dangerous logic, the most powerful fake news is the stuff that seems absolutely true. Whatever is in there, it should be completed in 5 minutes. And that's true, right? Like, he wants to know. Like, he just wants to tell, like, if they go in and they pass, knowing his hints, then it means that his hint is most likely true. And, like, if he's deduced anything else, then he can use that for his team. I think that's completely fair. Like, that's actually a really smart way of doing things. And it doesn't screw anyone ever over. Like, both teams will get something out of this. Okay, what was the last time we saw? I assume it was before 940, obviously. Yeah, 920. It took real long, and then they screamed. It was 940. Like, that, at the very least, helps to confirm the theory. Alright. I really hope we see him again. That was a really cool character dynamic. Also, I have to assume that the sound effect of Bam being used has to be like an actual pun, like, because Bam is here. Like, I don't think that they're spelled the same way, but it probably is an intentional thing, right? It's gotta be. Nice to meet you, regulars. Okay. So this is Hansung. And it seems like, if I had to guess just with this, then it has to be a, like, I'd assume it'd be some sort of, like, choose which picture is correct out of these, like, given criteria. Like, some sort of test like that. Either that, or maybe it's like, there's a bunch of fakes and you have to match the real one with the exact replica? Oh, is this Yuri? Oh, wait, never mind. I'm an idiot. This is Kun. Oh, wow, this is really powerful. Like, I love these, like, growing bubbles of just sheer insults. It's real rough. Princess Maria and Mr. Aguero are actually... From now on, there can't be any mistake in what we do. Don't listen to anyone. Don't trust anyone. Only walk through the paths that are the best for us. If not, we all die. What is this intrigue here? Like, I have to assume that these voices are all wrong. Like, they're spreading rumors, but they have to be wrong. So in that case... So, I have to assume they worked together to do this somehow. And it had to have been, like, legitimate. Like, it wasn't that Princess Maria used him. It has to be, like, they did it on purpose for some reason. Within 10 minutes, find the real door and open it. Okay. Amongst all these... Amongst them, find the real door that will take you outside. So if you don't find the door in 10 minutes, give up, you'll fail. If you open a wrong door within 10 minutes, you will die. And we know from that extra hint, most groups that don't manage to find that door within 5 minutes die. Or at the very least, they scream. So we don't know if that's a fail or if it's a death. If I had to guess, actually, I would assume that's... Yeah, I would assume that the scream is death. Because if it's a fail... Like, if it's a failure, I don't know if they would always scream. Although, maybe it's like, maybe the sensation of falling happens when you fail. Like, that would be enough to provoke a scream. So, this is a problem in which the more you think about it, the worse off you are. There aren't any more hints. Yeah, and he's not saying anything about what constitutes the real door. If I had to guess, because we were just introduced to Shinsu... it'll be something like the real door is the door that Shinsu flows through, and all the others like don't because they're not really portals to anywhere else. 12 doors. There's 10-minute time limits. There's one door that is real. If you choose the wrong door, we'll die. There are no other hints. However, the hint is hidden not in his words, but in this place itself. Oh, because before we saw it was at. Was it 12? Yes, it was. It was exactly 12. But now it's pointing at... Okay, so the next time we saw it, it was a little bit after 12. And now it's at 11 and 2. If it's circular around them, then maybe like the two doors they need to think about are these two? Like the ones that correspond to those arms. This test can't be completed with the brain alone. So I have to assume that's part of it. The pocket works as a timer. And yeah, the only thing left in this room is that clock. The teams that didn't scream passed the test in 4 or 5 minutes, but the teams who passed the time limits all screamed. I think that's something of that has to be true. Like, it must be the literal time then. Either that or isn't it obvious to guess? Oh boy. And they did it at 5:01, so even with that extra hint, they should have failed, perhaps. I mean, it could just be a test of seeing your determination. Like, are you willing to just go for it if there's nothing else? Or are you going to just sit there and stagnate? All right, that was the pass. Let's see what his logic is. To pass this test, you just had to open any door within 5 minutes. You opened a door within 5 minutes. Okay, so the timer kept on going, but like they opened it before 5 minutes were up. That makes sense actually, because he needed time to turn around and yell like, "Oh no, what are you doing?" Huh, you didn't Oh, that guy was part of the game. That's also why we didn't see the rest of his team. It was just like they planted him, and I assume he must have gone to all of the teams and mentioned that at some point or another before they went in. You can't do anything without assurances. You can never open a door if you're not certain of success. Right. These numerous doors, which were correct, will turn into doors of death after a few seconds. And that's why every time we saw this image, it showed all of them as being good or all of them as being the doors of death. It's because that was literally the truth. Oh, that's so smart. Because as we saw before, like he was able to pass through the Shinsu barrier quite easily, but that bag took a little more effort. So, what is he carrying with him? Like, it has to be something that we wouldn't expect, or maybe it's like some sort of. It has to be something relating to why he's in the tower in the first place. Like, I have to assume the reason he's here is part of that overall plan that he has with the princess. Oh boy, I do like this chibi rock. It looks really good. All right, let's see. I'll pass this test with the prophecy of God. I connect to my ho God and find the real door. Oh boy. That is incredible. That is actually incredible. Even if I explain, they won't listen. I should just let them go. That is amazing. Okay, Sleepy Boy is still sleeping. I think Leroy will just choose any door and go back to sleep again. I will find a place where I can sleep. This is great. Like, it's really interesting that this plan specifically works, like, as long as someone is impulsive or crazy or just, willing to go ahead without thinking about it. You gave us the hints. You gave us 3 hints in total. The first was the screaming sound. Okay, so did he find it all on his own? Had a cycle of 5 minutes. Okay, that's why it was moving so quickly. Because, like, it goes back to the start over the course of 5 minutes. It's not the actual time. There aren't any more hints. In other words, you don't have to look for more hints, which also means the answer can be drawn from the hints provided. Oh my god, Shibizu is finally pulling his weight. I really hope this doesn't end with a gag of like, oh, this was his imagination. I really hope this is his deduction because, oh man, this is showing why he's useful for the team. Alright, yep, definitely not a fake out. That's good. That's real good. Why did you tell me to give out hints to the regulars? The hints were already there. That's true. Like, it was fair. Was the hint you gave them really accepted as a hint by all of them? Oh, that's really smart. So it was a double, like, it was both a weapon, like, it was a positive weapon and also a curse. Like, it was designed specifically to hurt people like Kun. A person with faith in nothing but his God was saved because of that faith. And the person who was annoyed by thinking was saved because he was annoyed. This is such a cool breakdown of all these teams. Or, like, of at least select members from each team. If we assume the hint you gave them was like this cup of tea, did the tea turn out to be a medicinal tea for all of them? For some it functioned like medicine, but for some it was a poison. By the way, that's coffee, and it's even instant. That was fantastic. Alright, every time this happens, I always assume it's the end. Third area of the first test spot for regulars. Oh, it's the multi-eyed guy. The one that wasn't supposed to die. Once we pass, we send to the next waiting spot. What the hell is this design? And this, I have to assume, is Rachel. First test qualified, just 3. All right. So that's that also casts a strange question on like how in the world, like, I assumed that she must have left. Like Bam must have been unconscious for quite a while she went through a couple more floors, and from that point on, she would be able to like maintain a lead. But it seems like it's the exact opposites. Like Rachel is actually behind him right now, which means that the more Bam like struggles to try and get up faster and faster, the further away he'll actually be from Rachel. In any case, I feel like this is probably a good place to cut it off now. We went a lot longer than the previous episode, so I guess I'll stop there. I don't know what else I would say about these few chapters. Like, in general, I should probably stop trying to do, like, ending of volume recaps for Tower of God, because each chapter, like, feels like its own thing, and I should probably just talk about them as I finish each episode. But I will say, this was very, very clever. I really like how, like, simple yet smart this entire test was. And how we saw multiple teams go through it in order to show that, yes, it is fair, and there are multiple ways of getting through it. Like, specifically the fact that we had Hong Sung actually explain his reasoning for each team. Like, that helped keep it from being just, like, arbitrary. And it showed that, yeah, this test was actually very well thought out. And that everyone that passed, like, it may have been in a bunch of different ways, but they all got, like, they all did it properly. There were no problems with it. They were all things that he was trying to draw out of the teams by subjecting them to the tests. And also, I guess this means that, theoretically, the first team, unless the first team got a hint, but then again, if this one guy just walked around and gave literally everyone the same hints, I feel like that would have been very suspicious. So my assumption is that the very first team that went in didn't get a hint at all. In that case, like, I think that would also just hammer in the fact that, as the series has been pointing out, it's not fair. Like, you need luck in order to win. Like, the tower is willing to reject you solely based on luck, and you just have to live with it. It's exciting. It's really exciting. Like, as much as I love series where everything is based on logic and, like, clearly delineated, like, fact, where like, destiny and luck and just other things like that don't factor in very much, I think I'm really gonna like how Tower of God deals with luck. It's been really, really cool so far. Anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling. Almost 100% certain this has to be Rachel. That's all I'll say for now. So, thank you guys for watching. Bye for now. Nya nya.